John, I'm going to hand over to you on this because it's all about unfinished business with your Gran Turismo 7 versus Forza Motorsport content.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So, essentially, in that video, if you watch through to the end, I ran a little quiz show called Name That Game, where I presented 8 different slides, essentially, featuring a screenshot from either Gran Turismo 7 or Forza Motorsport, and asked people to choose which game they thought it was. And I have since monitored the results. Out of, a lot of people watched the video. About 10,000 people responded to the poll.
That's a lot of response.
That's pretty good for something like that. So I'm happy with that. I can report some averages though. First of all, the overall average score, and this is weird because it's like out of 8, but it's 59%. So the average score is 4.69. So basically, people on average got a little over half of them correct. So,
Okay.
and there are people that got all of them wrong, and there's people that got all of them right. So,
Have you got any numbers for those?
I do have individuals for each shot. Okay, so looking at all these images then to get the more specifics on it, the one that actually the people struggled with the most is actually image 3 and image 7. And this is because it was almost a 50-50 split in terms of guesses. So image 7 was actually the Corvette ZR1 interior, which was actually GT7. And you can kind of make out the plastics and the differentiation in those plastics and the way the light reflects off the dashboard. That's very characteristic of the way GT does the cockpits. But to me, it shows that's stuff that's like instantly obvious to my eye and one of its strengths. But obviously, a lot of people did not pick up on that. And 48% of people got it wrong.
Okay.
And it's the same for the... I did a close-up of an older Corvette where it just shows kind of the badge with some striping on it. And you can see a reflection of the headlight. This is actually a photo mode shot in the body itself. But it's pretty vague. This one is actually pretty tough because... it's at night, so you don't see the material properties as well. This was actually a GT7 shot. 52% of people guessed Forza. I guess really looking at overall data, it was harder than I expected, but I'm glad that people gave it a shot, and I hope people enjoyed taking that little test. And it was fun to see what people sort of internalized from the video. And yeah, that's kind of the basics. And I don't know, it just kind of came to me at the end of the project that, wait, I should quiz people on this. It's just like a fun little thing, and I'm happy with how that turned out, and I'm glad we got some of those numbers.
You got 10,000 responses, and the video's on about 320,000 views. That's basically a 3.1% conversion rate, which, bearing in mind the nature of the quiz, is actually pretty damn awesome, I'd say.
Yeah, actually, that is kind of cool because you're right. It requires watching pretty much to the end of the video, and then having enough interest to go down into the description box, which may not be available on every platform you're watching YouTube on, and then click on that link and then go through the quiz. But a good amount of people did just that.
So do you actually have any takeaways from those results, though, that people just can't really tell the difference, or they can marginally? It kind of suggests that they're both really great looking games, which I think was one of the points that you were making.
That was one of the points, exactly. And this, to me, this kind of answers some questions about the specifics. So the things that, like, you and I and Alex and Oliver, that we look at and just can instantly identify based on the underlying rendering tech and the different approaches, doesn't seem to be so obvious to the average viewer, the average video enjoyer. Which is kind of what I guessed before doing this video, and kind of what I wanted to prove with this quiz, was that, yeah, this stuff is very obvious to some people, but to the majority, it's not. They won't actually necessarily appreciate or see the difference at all. And that's kind of what these results, even though it's a small sample, it's what the results kind of bear out, I think, is that people actually struggled to figure this out. So... yeah, cool stuff.